Welcome to the show. You made it. Welcome, everybody. Hi, you guys made it. Welcome. I'm going to show you guys this really neat... It's a trick. They're all going to trick you. Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Sunday. You guys made it. I want to show you guys this. And who can figure it out? I bet you can. It's not that hard to figure out life. No, I'm going to show you actually... we got a card trick. I know, I don't usually do card tricks, guys, because, well, card games are fun. I don't know, I play with my grandma, but cards are indicative of gambling. And, you know, I would prefer to do this with the tarot deck. Tarot is more my style, but we got this deck right here. Oh, what's going on? Oh, okay, hey, I'm here to wish you guys congratulations. What's up, Black Death? What's up, Paul and Jose? And all you guys, I can't even pronounce that youth guy. We got Ireland up in the house. That's great. Okay, so we're just gonna light this on fire here. We gotta get a big fire. I'm doing good. Who dat? I'm gonna come to New Orleans for Easter. I remember you, Who dat, because you are in New Orleans. Ready? Let's see. I don't know. I used to do this when I was a kid, play with fire. I don't know if you remember that type of thing. I don't know. It's rubbing alcohol. Fire is fun, but you have to be safe. Safety third. That's what they say at Burning Man. All right, guys. So I have here a regular deck of cards, right? And we're gonna shuffle a little bit. Right, we gotta shuffle that deck. Shuffling the deck, and you guys are gonna tell me when to stop. We're gonna create a magic card here. Okay, so, oh, Noelle, will you come and cut this deck for me? It's my good friend Noelle. Yay! We have feminine energy is in the room, divine feminine. Okay, so I want you to take the first half off and just slide it under the second half. We're gonna cut the deck like so. And now you guys in TV land on the internet, you're gonna tell me when to stop. So I'm gonna just flip through the cards like so. And whenever you feel inclined, the first person to say it, I want you to say stop. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Somebody's gotta call. This is hard. Oh, okay. Jose did it. Jose called it. Okay. Now, this is your special card. Oh, shoot, I'm not supposed to see it. I've never actually done this for the internet, guys. This is your card, all right? This is your special card. I know it's hard to do it for the TV land people on the phone. All right, so we got your card is back in the deck here, and we're going to use this napkin to bring your card to the top of it, all right? We're just going to shuffle it. Normally, if you were in my room with me, you would be the one shuffling these cards, but you just have to trust me on this one that I'm not doing anything funny. Now, we're just going to place that on the table and get a better view so you can see this here. We're going to bring your card to the top of the napkin. Whoop-bam. Okay. You're trusting me here. No funny business. I shuffled. I got Noelle to cut. Well, bam. Oh, shoot. What is that? Did I get the card? Did I bring your card to the top of it? I need to know, because I closed my eyes. I didn't get to see what the card was. I don't know. You guys... Did I do it? Was it a fail? Oh! I did not get the card. Right. Well, what I said I was going to do was bring your card to the top of the napkin. Whoa. Dang it. And that's what I'm going to do. Oh. Dang it. This is getting crazy. This is how you really cause a distraction. Okay, here we go. I'm burning your card into the napkin right now with my mind. I'm calling on the power of the trees, the spirit of the trees that died to create this napkin. Show us what our card is. Show it to us. I'm calling on the power of the great pine tree that died to create this napkin. Show us the card. I can see you. It's happening. It's working. This effect is meant to teach you patience. Patience is one of the greatest virtues, for lifetime existence is eternity. You must be patient, for you shall not reach your Creator all at once. Different parts of you shall reach Creator at different times. And you shall be patient, lest all the parts reach inevitably. Let's see. I mean, you'd have to see the beginning of the trick to see what the card was. Do you see the card? Is it backwards? No, it's forwards. I always have to reverse it for you guys. Let's see. Is it the card? We're internalizing, intentionalizing the introverts. Here we are. Here we are. It's working. I love this one. I want to manifest the face of a great teacher in the napkin. It would be great if I could burn the silhouette of Jesus' face. That's what I want to do with this. 4, I see a 4. That's definitely a 4 of hearts. 4 of hearts. 4 of hearts. Whoa, it's done. And that is a heart of 4. Oh, it broke. 4 of hearts, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, and the smoke alarm did not go off because, well, I unplugged it. Because it was so annoying. Look, there's smoke all up in the bedroom. That was a very smoky effect. And that is burning your intentions into a napkin. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have been your special head for this evening. I hope you enjoyed that. Actually, the hard part of that is the burning the card. But the card selection is something that you can learn to do pretty easily. Oh no. Oh shoot. I just messed up Melissa's pants with the ash. Oh shoot. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Now we'll talk to you guys and see how everybody's doing. I am your friend. They call me Special Head. They call me Danny Wolverton. You know, I'm just getting real here on this beautiful Sunday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. What I wanted to do is I wanted to finish the rest of my life story, part 3. Is that what I should do, or should I just chat with you guys? 4 of Hearts is wrong? I swear to God, I thought that 4 of Hearts was the card. Are you serious, Black Death? Are you just screwing with me? I swear to God. Okay, I think that you're lying to me. Was it the 4 of Hearts? Was that the card that I got? Because somebody is fooling me. Because I swear I thought that it was 4 of Hearts is the card. Be honest, please. Okay. I'll let you guys take a vote really quick. I can either continue with my life story here because you guys make me happy. That's why I'm doing this. I can either continue with my life story, or I could just talk to you guys and ask your questions, and I'll answer. It's up to you. I'll tell about finding real magic, or I will talk about whatever you want me to. Okay, life story. Here we go. Where I left off was discovering real magic on my second tour, my first magic tour across the country. We're just getting this plugged in right now. Yeah, so I was on tour and I had open spaces of time in between shows. I went to New York City, Asheville, North Carolina, Georgia, New Orleans. I went to Milwaukee and Chicago and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to Ironwood, Michigan. I went to all these places. I was doing shows, but in between these shows, I found some really magical moments. And one of them was meeting some very beautiful women and having some very nice, let's just call them sweet time, sexy times. I had some nice sexy times, and really, you know, I'll have to say it, pursuing the opposite sex and getting to know the opposite sex on a deeper level. We're trying to keep this PG here. Trying to get to know the opposite sex on a deeper level is really, really gratifying emotionally. And finding people like that you can have in your life, that's so magical. And finding the magical moments to allow those serendipitous meetings, interactions to happen. I mean, that's like, this is how, guys, this is how women work, right? Noel, come here, come talk to me. This is why women love magicians, right? Is because when women are finding men, or when women find men that they like, are you looking at my teeth?
No.
Are you looking at my blackheads?
I'm looking at your eyes.
Oh, you're looking at my eyes. Eye contact. So when women find a man, you know, that they're interested in, they're looking for these magic moments, right? I don't know if you're looking for some kind of spark of like there's some kind of like serendipitous occurrence of like you like bump into each other.
That does make it feel more meaningful.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so I found on this tour that a big part of, you know, finding different women to, get to know a little bit better, I found that being open to and aware of when these magical moments are happening, kind of like finding real magic is being open and aware enough to realize when a magical moment is actually happening. You see, that's the thing, is magic happens all around us, but we become so fixated on like some preconceived track of thinking, or of like, you know, you have a goal in mind, you're like, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get. We become so fixated on our desired outcome that we stop being aware of the magical occurrences that are happening, you know, on the side of us, that we overlook that. I don't know.
I would consider that flow state.
Flow state.
Yeah, whenever you're just really in the moment, you're really present, and things are just coming to you. They're flowing. Mm-hmm. You're not trying for something. You're not resisting. And I think that's the time whenever the most magic happens.
Yeah. Like, people try to swim upstream. You know, I was trying to swim upstream being a musician. Right. Oh, okay. You know, it's also really important, guys, to men tend to like talk a lot, like talk way too much, because they have this need inside of them to like impress a woman. You know, they're like, oh, I gotta win her over and impress her, and really, like, to win the woman over and impress them, really what it takes is listening. See, Noelle,
ask questions and listen.
Is listening and showing them how much you can listen to them. It doesn't matter what you say. It's actually better if you're like See, men always try to like impress a woman right off the bat by sharing their achievements and accomplishments. Like, that's like the first thing that they go to. Noelle, if you're gonna listen to me, come and sit next to me.
Yeah, okay.
She's listening to me. She's like, I want you to acknowledge if what I'm saying is true about what women want.
Okay, I can acknowledge on camera instead of behind camera, I guess.
Oh, okay. She like went to the kitchen, but then just stood there listening to me. So like, men always try to go off about their personal accomplishments right off the bat, and it's way more impressive to a woman if the guy doesn't like need to start listing off his accomplishments. If he just like humbly sits there and is like shows interest in her mainly, and then if she gets the opportunity to ask the dude about what he does, of course she's gonna want to know, like, right? Of course you're gonna want to know, what does this guy do for a living? What, you know?
That's not the first thing I ask.
It's not the first thing, but eventually...
I would like to ask them questions about them, though. Eventually I'd like to know, of course.
But isn't it much more impressive if a guy that does awesome stuff, like, that you find out about it naturally just by your own interest,
Yes,
rather
instead
than
of them
him
boasting.
rather than him just like talking about it. So yeah, I don't know. I had an amazing tour, and I really learned how to create that magic between women, and part of it is like, it's like having an open mind to, like, oh, not needing to get that one, like, oh, I choose this one. Kind of like being open to and aware, listening to the cues of a woman of if she's interested in you or me, because really, like, women go through their cycles, right? They ovulate. There's a period of time when women are like more receptive and thinking about the opposite sex more. Men are just kind of always horny, but women are more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a portion of the month when you're like more down to, like.
Well, I mean, of course, we're radiating that energy a bit more, but I mean, there are also fluctuations in life when women just aren't interested in, men in general at that moment or something.
Women are more choosy, and being able to be receptive to when a woman is like searching for something is like really, really important, because you could go out to a social occurrence and probably only a third of the women there are like actually going to be receptive. You could be banging your head against the wall and going against the flow if you like just decide, okay, I want that girl or that girl, Hey, what's up? Okay, so anyways, Noelle is a friend of mine, and she's actually part of my life story. We went to rainbow gatherings, and we were shooting a mockumentary about building a cult. Any of you guys are welcome to join the cult that we started. It's the cult of Levitation and Wadagia's Way. And Wadagia was my theoretical teacher, where I put on the mask. I don't know, you could say, what was your inspiration?
My inspiration at Rainbow Gathering?
Yeah, for cult, doing a mockumentary about cult.
Well,
about a fake cult.
I was raised in a cult, so I'm very fascinated with the inner workings. And he wanted to do a little social experiment, and I thought that would be fascinating, and I would take part in shooting the video for that. So, yeah, I got to go with my longtime friend Danny here.
And I was the cult leader. I was my own guru. This mask has gotten pretty fucked up. Yeah, so I was the leader.
And they were very receptive of you.
I know. I got this whole following of hippies.
I was doubtful of how easily this would happen.
I feel like the other I should have.
Following though right away. So I mean, I don't think that would have made that much of a difference.
I think that a lot of those people,
they wanted to believe.
They wanted to believe, and that's the thing, is that people wanted to meet. They wanted to believe in me as their guru, as their prophet or whatever. But I think a lot of the people were actually tripping on acid or mushrooms or something. And that's the thing about these psychedelics, is that a lot of these hippie cults, the one you were in wasn't like this, but
no, it was a little bit different.
Like Motika's cult, we know somebody that started a cult up in Oregon, and his cult was like one of these hippie acid cults where he would do ceremonies with people younger than him, where he would dose them all on acid. And the U.S. military was doing experiments on soldiers trying to see if LSD could be used for mind control. And I think that while, yes, when you take these psychedelics, it makes your mind really open and receptive, at the same time, when you open yourself up that much, it's really easy for a manipulative individual to start inserting ideas into your mind. Right?
Yeah. It's good to be aware of that possibility.
So yeah, we had a really awesome time. Actually, did you see that video that we did, actually the video that you filmed of the guy trying to fight me at the parking lot?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that video has like 200 or 300,000 views now?
Oh, I haven't looked at it since.
Yeah, did you see like the video that I posted? She filmed this video where the guy managing the parking situation like totally attacked me, and like choked through me.
He threw a rock at us.
They threw rocks. This other guy dove at the car. That was the only part that would have been awesome if we could have gotten, was the guy diving at the other car. It was crazy.
Actually leaped into the car.
The guy tried to leap into our other friend's car.
And stop the car with his own body.
You guys should see the video. It's titled "Hippie on a Power Trip Assaults Me" or something like that. Yeah, that video did really well because people on YouTube like to see drama and fights happen, because that's like our human nature. I don't know.
I guess so.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's different.
So yeah, we did that. We drove from Arizona all the way up to northern Utah, up to the Uinta Forest. Mm-hmm. That's what it was called.
I don't remember exactly the name of that forest, but
yeah,
I do remember that it was just outside of, I believe, Salt Lake City. Wasn't that just outside of Salt Lake?
Actually, when we first met, it was Kelsey's birthday party, and there was mud wrestling going on, and Noelle was filming it. But then Noelle, and actually I found some of that old footage somewhere. You showed? Yeah, you gave me access to a bunch of that old footage, and remember?
Oh, I showed you. I'm pretty sure. But
I don't know if I got that footage. I remember seeing myself wrestling naked in the mud with these two girls. I don't want Melissa to see that. And then afterwards, I don't know, Noelle and this other girl kind of like fought over the privilege of hosing me off with a hose. They both ended up hosing me off. Sorry, I don't mean to brag about my sexual exploits with women, but they happened. So that's how I first met Noelle, and we kind of dated a little bit. I won't go into the details.
A long time ago, yes.
A long time ago we dated, and she's a very special friend to me.
I'm a friend now.
She's a friend now.
I'm a friend.
Because I have another girl. I have Melissa, but
and I love Melissa.
And she loves Melissa. She was dating Reggie Watts. Do you guys know Reggie Watts? She went on some dates with Reggie Watts.
Okay.
She was just dating Reggie Watts. Anyways.
All right.
You know, your friends.
Enough talking about that.
No, we're filming a cult mockumentary. It's going to be really awesome. I hope you guys stay tuned. It's one of the many projects that I got involved in after America's Got Talent, because you see, when I went on America's Got Talent, you can do whatever you want.
Okay,
sweetheart.
yeah, I've got stuff to do, but
namaste.
Nice.
So after America's Got Talent, all these people started to come at me, wanting me to be their guru, wanting me to be their either role model or teach them levitation. Some kid believed that I was the return of Buddha because he had a dream about me levitating on America's Got Talent a couple months before I did it, and that in that dream I would become the return of Buddha, the reincarnation of Buddha, right? So all these people started coming at me, and I realized this is an issue here, because all of these people are yearning so deeply for a miracle, for something greater than themselves to get them to believe. And it's my belief, because of the Baha'i teachings, that the need for future prophets, this is based on what Baha'u'llah has said, is that the need for future prophets to do a miracle, to create something, of tremendous magnitude, to get people to believe in them, will become less and less as humanity progresses. More scientific understanding and more knowledge about the world. The need for those prophets, for the next Jesus, for the next, the reincarnation of Buddha, the need for them to do miracles will become less and less. One, because we will have a better understanding of the scientific principles that created those miracles, but two, because we will have our intellect, a heightened intellect as society advances and evolves. Our higher intellect will allow us to see the validity of the prophets based on their ideas of the prophets themselves, based on the principles and the teachings. It's hard to explain. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, look, here's the thing that all the prophets have in common. Jesus, Buddha, Zoroaster, Muhammad, Moses. From the time that they're a small child, they had an inherent knowledge of the physical universe. Their teachers are throwing them out of the classroom, saying, this child is undermining my authority. This child is teaching the class. And if that's the gift that they're given, is infinite knowledge of everything there is to know about existence, then they could theoretically harness physics, harness science to create a miracle, right? God is not outside the bounds of mathematics and science, right? Everything that science can explain, God can explain, and vice versa. So Jesus walking on water, this could have been Jesus knowing how to harness physics to create this tremendous miracle, to get people to believe in his power. So I saw this as an issue that everybody believed in me because I did this miracle, because people were so thirsty to see something miraculous, to get to believe in a real life human being, that they believed in me. And I was like, whoa, I could totally trick people. I could totally like start a cult and really manipulate people or steal their money if I wanted to. And it really made me see, you know, all these cults that have started in all of these false religions, you know, even Church of Scientology, for example. All of these religions have been created, these cults have been created on people thirsty for some real life fatherly figure to help guide them and teach them and show them the way, that they've allowed themselves to be manipulated by people who are full of ego, who are ego hungry, who are womanizers, you know, just very charismatic individuals who fulfilled that place of these people who wanted that in their lives. So I decided, with that power of all these people that believed in me from America's Got Talent, I decided to use all of these people to create an art piece of a mockumentary, a cult documentary, a documentary about starting a cult, a fake cult. So that's what I was doing at the Rainbow Gathering. That's what I was doing in these places. And you guys can become part of my cult. You know, it's a cult to make fun of cults and the things that people do when they're getting manipulated by others. Hey, what's up? Oh my gosh, you grew up doing Baha'i things. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys right now. What's up? Hello, Victor. Oh, yes, I am Baha'i. That's awesome. I love Baha'i. Oh, wow, everybody's talking about Baha'i. Yeah, Buddha's not a man. Oh, yeah, she was Reggie's girl. Okay, now I'm going to look at what you guys have to say. Hey, Jenny, I have a request. Could you please do a pen? Oh, with my hat removed. Oh, you want to see me do it with the hat removed. Okay, okay, check it out. I will fulfill your request, but I want to finish my story. So anyways, I was touring around. We did this cult mockumentary. I went and did a show in Las Vegas, Beecher's Madhouse, which was like a sideshow, freak show themed thing. Oh yeah, I already talked about that in my story. You know, little midgets and these giant trans women who were burlesque dancers. And, you know, it was bottle service. There was something on the menu that was $20,000 called the Flying Midget, where, you know, if you paid this money, they would seat you at a special table, front row and center, table with bottle service. But the special thing was, at a certain time, all the cocktail waitresses would get excited with their flashlights, flailing them around, and then a big spotlight would shine on this giant statue of an elephant. On the elephant's butt, the spotlight would shine. And then at that time, this little dwarf person, as they called him in the show, a midget, and that was politically correct because they were all in showbiz together, a midget would fly out of the elephant's butt, right? There'd be two curtains on the elephant's butt would open up. The little midget would fly out across this rigging across the ceiling, right? The midget's flying around going like this, flailing their arms, and they've got this big bottle of vodka in their arms. And then they would get lowered down to your table and stand on your table and say, "Presenting your bottle, sir." And they would hold the bottle up for you, present it to you. And then they would bring you 6 bottles of champagne, a giant bottle of vodka, all the mixers to go with that. And that was your $20,000 blown at Beecher's Madhouse at a party. And that was what I was doing, you know. And when I was in Las Vegas, I was like, wow, this is Sin City. You know, I would get hustled by drug dealers and prostitutes on my way home, which was the casino. I was living in the MGM Grand. They would hustle me up, you know, trying to get me to sleep with them or buy their drugs or whatever. And I was like, at that point, I was like, wow, this is such a big test. So I decided to be really, really pure at heart, really, really good, and not partake, you know, go completely sober and abstain from sex. I met this really nice Chinese girl who hated sex, and I guess she had never had sex without a condom on, so it was always painful for her because she was just really dry. She wasn't well lubricated. So the condom would really bother her. So I never had sex with her because she didn't like sex, and that was my girlfriend. I was very, pure of heart and celibate, and it was interesting. I was living in Las Vegas, in Sin City, and I was like, this is my test to resist temptation. And then I just kind of got over myself and was like, I don't know. I kind of went a little overboard after that, too. I was like, I went to Burning Man, and I met Melissa, right? She was my Craigslist rideshare after the tour. I went on this tour and I just decided to cut loose and experience women and experience as many women as I possibly could. And, I had these really magical moments with a monk from Mongolia out of Chicago. This guy, Bruce, who explained to me that his grandmother would levitate in the yurt up in Mongolia. From the time when he was, 5 years old up until he was 20 years old, he would see her levitate while beating a drum in ceremony. And he had contacted me because he had seen me levitate on America's Got Talent, and he wanted me to teach him how to levitate because he wanted to make his grandmother proud. I met with him, but I could not teach him how to levitate. I will, maybe someday. But through the ceremonies that he showed me, he got me to believe in true unassisted levitation. Because his grandmother could levitate without holding onto a stick. She could levitate while beating a drum in this hand, stick in this other hand, no strings, no wires, just fully floating up into the air in the mountains of Mongolia in a yurt. This is just one of the many serendipitous, occurrences that happened to me, running into the same friends over and over again. Like, I'd see this guy in New Orleans, and then I would see the same guy in Asheville, and then I would see the same guy in New York City, all on this trip, and I was like, dude, what's up with this? Are you following me? Because, this is not intentional. This has to be serendipity. There has to be a reason why me and you keep meeting each other. It's really easy. It's really amazing. This guy, John, and we ended up collaborating on a really awesome project together that is monumental and groundbreaking. I was like, this is why me and you keep running into each other. And, we found our own heterosexual love between each other. They say, no homo. Who says that, right? I don't say that. Around LA, because there's so many homeless people, we say, no hobo. That's what we say. Do you like that, Noel? Yo, what we say in LA is no hobo. But yeah, no, I love John, and I met many amazing people, and I was on this tour doing YouTube videos, and because I was receptive and had an open mind, I just had opportunity after opportunity to film amazing documentary after amazing documentary. I just put the word out there, and then there were so many amazing artists that would come forward and say, will you film something about my art? And during that time, I filmed a documentary about Xavier Nuez, this famous light painter out of Chicago. He would use light painting, and with a slow shutter speed on a camera, he would paint abandoned buildings with light. Like he would draw on them with light sources, and it was really beautiful. I went and filmed a documentary about the Moog synthesizers and about Spoon Lady, right? If you saw Spoon Lady playing the spoons, she actually hits 2 spoons around. And I filmed a documentary about New Orleans Airlift, this amazing musical instrument creation. I filmed a documentary about Ken Butler building musical instruments out of guns. I went and filmed a funny prank video about the Grateful Dead people where I levitated as an alien for them. Some of my best videos came out of that tour because I was just open and receptive to make magic happen. And in all honesty, I want to have a tour like that again, maybe this summer. I've got a bunch of tour dates located up, but the thing that made that tour really magical was the fact that I had open time in between tour dates. Like this tour coming up, I'm going to be a little bit more packed in with doing lots of shows. But the previous tour, you know, an open heart and some open time is what it takes to find those magical doors that you can enter to bring your destiny forward. And then after that, after I really learned, you know, this is after I dated a Tantra instructor. You know, my girlfriend before I met the love of my life. She was somewhat of a, I wouldn't call her a sex worker. I would call her a Tantra instructor. But if you know anything about Tantra, it's kind of like combining human sexuality with yoga and kundalini and chakra points and, you know, energy work stuff. And, you know, that girlfriend that I had before I started the tour, she really taught me about human sexuality and how the yin and yang of the sexes combine and meet. And I just became really open and receptive to, you know, having deeper contact with women. And after that, I met my girlfriend because I had figured out how to get in touch with that magic that is intuition and manifesting your destiny and manifesting your intentions, making it real. And so after this tour of magic, I went to Burning Man. And this is how magical this is. I'm really passionate about this story about how I met my girlfriend, but this is the magic right here, is that I was on my way to Burning Man and I was creating a music video about world peace and creating world peace in the world. And in Reno, Nevada, we got a hotel room, and I wanted to finish this video and post it to YouTube. It's the one that I filmed at Salvation Mountain, where it's a one-shot take. I suggest you go to my music videos and check it out. It's not the one I filmed dressing up like a crackhead. It's the one that's called Music Video for World Peace. Check that out after this video. Because I stayed in Reno to finish this music video, my passenger hopped out of my car. And he was my only passenger. He like got into this other car in the caravan. I stayed behind. And so because I had this open space in my car, I posted a Craigslist rideshare ad. I got tons and tons of calls, but the very first call that called me to answer that ad to go to Burning Man was Melissa. She sounded very sweet over the phone, and I went and picked her up at the Sands Hotel. And I mean, it's crazy to remember back that moment. You know, I had no idea that I would end up falling in love with this woman. She told me that she was from Miami. She was like this Cuban Dominican chick, you know, she's wearing booty shorts, and I could see the line of her butt, right? Her shorts were cut up so high, and like her pockets on the sides were hanging out a little bit. And at first I was kind of like, who is this chick? She seems totally like just like a party girl from Miami. The Latin fire, right? And I like underestimated her, but as you know, we drove to Burning Man together, and what should have been a 2-hour drive turned into a 9-hour drive because of the line at Burning Man. It was the longest line that I'd ever gotten stuck in. You know, I could go into all the details because I remember it like it was yesterday, but you know, we started talking and we were stuck in this 9-hour long line, and we started to find all of these crazy coincidences, you know, like, I mean, my interest first got sparked when she said, "Hey, what's up, Joker?" "Oh, I'm listening to you guys. What's up, guys?" Oh man, I love... Oh yeah, you're right, preliminary. Burning Man has changed, you know, Burning Man has totally changed. You're totally right. It used to be really amazing. It was a festival by artists, for artists, a really amazing networking spot to create bigger and better art. You know, crossing of paths was Burning Man. And I'll, you know, I still might go again, but it's just changed to become so mainstream and corporatized, and it's really a hedonism festival. If they put all of the resources that they put towards Burning Man into, like, solving world hunger or world peace, or, you know, not polluting the environment with driving a bunch of RVs to the desert and burning a bunch of stuff, setting a bunch of propane on fire, the world would be a better place. But aside from that, Burning Man allowed me to meet the love of my life. And for that, I'm grateful. And, we started finding out that we had all these coincidences. Like, for example, when I asked her what her favorite country, if she had any country to get a free trip to, what country would you pick? She picked Bhutan. I don't know, what country would you guys pick? I'm curious. Like, if you had a free trip to any one country, what would you pick? She said Bhutan. That's my answer too. It's really hard to get into Bhutan. They have a gross domestic happiness, right? Instead of gross domestic product, they measure their well-being and happiness. And it's a kingdom that's a Buddhist kingdom, and they only let in about 1,000 tourists every year. The tourist visas cost like $400 a day, so it's very expensive. So yeah, we picked the same country. It turned out both her father and my father had landscaping businesses. The first gift that I gave her was also the same thing that her father had given to her, which were these little meditation balls that you fling around, these Chinese meditation balls. And I started to see the omens. You see, part of following the magic, finding the magic, is looking for the omens, right? When you feel like there's a greater force, a greater spirit talking to you, guiding you, telling you this is where you need to be right now. This is following the omens. And as I started to get to know Melissa, we had coincidence after coincidence. Like, simple things like, us both being cat people and not liking horses and not being into birds, but loving kitties and little primates and monkeys and, the same pets and loving the same types of food, loving sushi and just having lots of same things in common and loving the same exact type of music, right? So we end up going to Burning Man, and we feel these coincidences happening as we're getting to know each other, stuck in this long line. And I remember as we get closer into Burning Man, Melissa started to get more and more excited because this was her first year. This was my 7th year, and I love taking people on a tour for the first time. So she didn't know where she was going to camp. She was underprepared. She did not have enough supplies. And my camp was full of people. It was overbooked. Like, you had to pay dues of $120, and my campmates were like, no more people are allowed. And they're also really finicky about who was allowed to camp with us, or who was allowed to come and hang out at camp. They were like, you're not allowed to bring anybody back to camp who you did not know prior to Burning Man. Like, people would always ask, oh, did you know that person before Burning Man? It was like kind of pretentious in a way of, they didn't want undercover cops infiltrating the camp. You see, at Burning Man, there's a lot of undercover cops that will actually pretend to be your friend in order to bust you, right? That's what they've done to friends of friends, like befriend you and like pretend like they're going to make out with you and stuff just to bust you for, oh, I'm looking for some mushrooms. Can you help me find some mushrooms, please? And then as soon as you help the person find mushrooms, then bam, police are on you and you're busted. Really, really sad that we had to do that. So I felt bad because Melissa didn't even know where she was going to camp at, and Burning Man's kind of a harsh environment. So I told her the first night, you can camp with me. You can stay with me. And, because we got in at 4 in the morning, and I just felt bad dumping her off on the side of the road. And, I let her stay with me that night. And I told her in the morning, I told her before we went to sleep, I was like, hey, in the morning, if you want to jump into my van with me and snuggle, you're allowed to, by all means, the invitation's open. I said that to her because I didn't want her milling about my camp in the morning and having my campmates ask her, who are you? What are you doing here? Because they're all strict about who gets to come in and out of our camp. I was like, well, if that way, when we wake up, she'll wake up at the same time as me, and we'll get up together, and this will be my guest, a girl that I'm with, rather than this random person milling about my camp, my rideshare person. So I said that to her. And so, of course, in the morning, she wakes up because it's hot in her tent, and I'm in the van still sleeping because it's still cold. And she just jumps in my van, wakes me up with snuggles. And, of course, we start making out. And the rest was history. We've been inseparable ever since. And, everything just kind of fit together like puzzle pieces. She she just happened to be needing a ride back to LA because she had a gig in LA. Even though she was from New York City. I was from LA. She was from New York City. And I ended up driving her back to LA with me. You know, I ended up telling my initial rider, hey, you know how you hopped out of my car into that other ride? Do you want to just continue riding back with them to LA? That guy who hopped out of our car, right? That guy was from the Canary Islands. And I found it very coincidental. The guy who hopped out of my car was from the Canary Islands. And Melissa's mother's side of the family, Melissa's mother's father, his family was from the Canary Islands as well. And I'm like, Canary Islands is kind of random, right? Like, there's not, it's a small little area, you know, small islands there in the Atlantic. And I was like, what are the odds that, like, this girl that I fell in love with, you know, this guy from the Canary Islands hops out of the car, and this other girl from the Canary Islands, with family from the Canary Islands, hops into the car. You know, just coincidences like that, and just, you know, how well we get along. Like, I'm a listener. I'm a talker, actually. Yeah. And she's a listener, you know. Just how we complemented each other. I'm very good with directions, knowing where I am around, you know, locations, and she's very bad with that. She's very patient and tolerant, and I tend to have an ego that I struggle to keep in check, hence why I'm a performer. You know, we just complemented each other, and as we grow and developed with each other, we realized this, oh my gosh, this is something really special that we have here, you know. I mean, even just loving the same type of music, you know. It sucks to be in a relationship with somebody and have them not like the same kind of music that you like. Right, Noelle?
Right.
Yeah, Noelle's over there.
That's important. That's very important.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. Anyways, so I met her, and then a month later, you know, I get this call from her. She's really, really upset, and she's talking about how her father is sick with cancer. I'm not that into Wu-Tang, actually. Her father got really sick with cancer, and I was starting over the telephone. You know, she went back to New York, and I stayed in LA, and all these things that I said I would never do, I did for her, actually. I said I would never be in a long-distance relationship. I started doing long distance with her because I fell in love with her. I said I would never move to another city to be with a lover. I ended up moving to New York City to be with her, right? Her father got sick with cancer, and I had never met him before. She was like, my father is sick, and he's dying, and I'm having to go back to Florida. I'm really, really upset. He got lung cancer. And I said to her, you know, I feel like you're the one, Melissa. Like, I want to meet your father. Like, he's still alive right now, and I want to have this opportunity to get to meet him while he's still alive. Because this might be the only chance that I have to get to meet your father, and I love you. And so I flew to Florida. You know, I booked a plane ticket, and I went to meet her family for the first time under these circumstances where her dad was not in good health because he had lung cancer. And it was kind of bittersweet and very sad because it was like I was meeting half of her dad. You know, her dad was under a lot of medication, and really, you know, it was really amazing. Her father kind of got me to believe in medical marijuana because her dad was just incapacitated the whole entire time I was there in Florida, in Miami, to meet him. And, you know, he could barely talk. And, you know, on the third to last day that I was there, the doctor said, you know, medical marijuana is becoming legal and all these, you know, it's going to become legal soon. And don't tell anybody that I prescribed that I told you this because I could lose my job. But he's got cancer and he is having a hard time eating, hard time with an appetite, and he's in a lot of pain. My suggestion is have Tino smoke some marijuana or eat some marijuana because this will help him. Tino, Melissa's father, had been in recovery in AA for like 30 years, all right? And Melissa's mom she's conservative. I mean, she's a Trump supporter, and she was like, but it's illegal. You've been sober for 30 years. You're going to throw 30 years away. It's illegal. Marijuana is illegal. It's a drug. She got irate and upset, but Melissa and her sister were both potheads, all right? They both liked smoking weed, and when the doctor said this, they both, the light in their eyes, they got excited. They're like, we should get Poppy high. We should give him some marijuana. And they talked their mom into it. They're like, but Mom, the doctor said. So finally the mom conceded, and they went and got Tino a vaporizer, some vaporized marijuana in this bag. Tino smoked the marijuana, which he used to smoke marijuana. He was a surfer. He was like a hippie surfer, and he used to smoke lots of weed. And I'm telling you, when Melissa's father, sick with cancer, smoked weed, he perked up. Like, he got so much energy, and it made him feel so much better, killing the pain and giving him an appetite. And just, he like sat up in bed for the first time, and he asked us to put on music, and we played for him electro swing music, right? This like circusy, funky music. And he stood up and he started dancing. I have videos of this, of Tino dancing in his bed, right? He was sitting up in bed dancing, and he took off his hat and he was shaking it around like it was a tambourine, like this, you know? And he started laughing, and he was having like a really, really good time. And then he said to Melissa, he's like, I want you to leave the room. I want to have a conversation with your boyfriend alone. And this is what he told me. This is his words of wisdom. I'll hold the crystal when I say this to you guys. Tino's words of wisdom. He said, Danny, what's your last name? I was like, Wolverton. He said, if Wolverton and Vento were meant to come together, then it is fate. It's destiny. And you cannot run away from fate. Then he said to me, Danny, if you get drunk when you're with Melissa, if you get drunk and you come home to Melissa, you have two options. You can either stay out of the house, or you can treat Melissa well, with love and respect. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just flicking you off. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that. Gong. So that's what he said to me. And then also he said, and if you break her heart, I'll see you in hell. And he laughed. That's what he said. That was his advice to me. It was really, really beautiful. You know, I think that's all he said to me. If you break her heart, I'll see you in hell. Yeah, it was beautiful words. It was bittersweet. And her father passed away like 3 months after that. Rest in peace, Tino Vento. You know, it was really hard on my girlfriend too. And you know, that brought us closer together. You know, it really did, because I kind of like took over as like a primary man in her life. You know, and I moved to New York to be with her, and we had to deal with a eviction. I fought an eviction by bargaining the Jewish property manager and his lawyer down to a third of what was owed, a third of the money that was owed. You know, I traveled around with her. We went to northern Arizona, and one of the magical things that happened between us, oh my gosh, there's so many magical things, guys. Let me check in with you guys. Oh my gosh, Sand's Nest, that's so mean. What's up, guys? I'm looking at what you guys are saying. What is Twitch? Should I have a Twitch channel? I don't know. What Twitch? I'm not very good with computers and social media, guys. I'm sorry. You know? Hi, what's up, guys? Okay. Melissa saw a flying snake. She saw this unidentified species of flying snake, because we started going to northern Arizona. Actually, we saw the flying snake in the same location that me and Noelle first found. I've done some videos at this location. It's where there's some roadside ruins inside Marble Canyon. They're like ruins that are built around a boulder, all right? And Melissa saw this thing. I threw a dirt clod in her direction to like startle her, just as a joke. We were like running around this canyon, and it's all eroded red rocks, and like I'm like, it's like a video game, and I'm running around, and it just rained, so I picked up a dirt clod of like half mud, and I threw it towards Melissa, and it spread out to all these different little pieces, and I guess it stirred up this snake, and it scared this snake, and this snake picked up into the air, and it started spinning, doing corkscrews like this, like through the air, and it made a sound that we heard that sounded like a dragonfly or hum, and we were like, what the heck was that? And I thought it was a skinwalker, because in Navajo folklore, skinwalkers are these Native American evil witch shapeshifters that can take on different animal forms and multiple different animals at the same time. Like they'll take on the form of a goat and a jaguar at the same time, right? So when she said, you know, when it was like a flying snake, I was like, what? That's the only way that that could be a real creature existing is if it's a skinwalker, because it's like a shapeshifter thing. So I got scared and we left. I was like, let's get out of here. We've disrespected these native lands. This is Navajo country, and these are the native lands, and we've been disrespectful, and the witches are coming out. So I got scared and we left. And as we're leaving, she was like, what is a skinwalker? And I'm like, shh, don't say the word. Because if you say the word, they'll come. If you say what they are, they'll come for you. That's true. If you're in Navajo lands and you talk about skinwalkers, they'll come for you. Actually, Navajo people don't like talking about skinwalkers because they're superstitious about it, that if you talk about it, then they'll come. Right? But Melissa didn't believe me that it was a skinwalker, because she looked on the internet as to what a skinwalker was, and she was like, well, this doesn't sound like it. She kept researching. She researched flying snake on Navajo lands, and she found a 23-page paper written by a cultural anthropologist about the Navajo and Hopi folklore of the flying snake. And this guy met multiple eyewitnesses that had seen the flying snake, or the snake that can fly. And in this paper, these eyewitnesses described exactly what Melissa had seen, right? They described it to a T, the exact same range of motion of corkscrewing through the air. I mean, okay, so the snake has like these like little wingspans on the side, right? It looks like a cobra with like on the top body of the snake, there's like these skin flaps that hang off that can create a sail that as the snake is twisting through the air, it catches wind. And the eyewitnesses described the same humming sound. And this is in the same region, right? It was just really amazing that we saw it and we heard it. We experienced it with two senses. And the fact that these eyewitnesses described exactly what we had seen and heard. And the amazing thing is that the attitude of this is sparsely populated areas, okay? Navajo and Hopi lands. There's not that many people. And the attitude of the Navajo and Hopi is that, well, we have always known about these flying snakes. We've known about their existence. We know that they are real. We have no need to capture it and document it for science because we know they exist. We have no need for our ego. We respect the flying snakes, and we let them be, because they're also partially venomous. So, I mean, that moment, that was magic. Finding the flying snake, that was magic between me and Melissa, you know, and just these adventures that we would go on. I mean, we escaped. We were at Mandalay Bay an hour before the shooting happened, and there was some kind of psychic energy, this mass shooting that happened at Mandalay Bay in that concert. An hour before it happened, we just sensed this negative energy, and we were supposed to be in that area at the time of the shooting. But something told us to leave earlier. We were just like, we got to get out of Vegas. We got to get out of Las Vegas. Something psychically between us. And through Melissa, I've learned to listen and trust the intuition of women. You know, they say this thing about women's intuition being strong and being a real thing. Well, through having this deep relationship with the love of my life, Melissa, I've realized women and their intuition is off the hook. Because we escaped Mandalay Bay. You know, we've just all the things that we've been through together. I mean, catching the prized shoe at the Muses Parade. You know, is Who.Dat still there? Yo, you're one of my favorite fans, man. If you're still on here, I appreciate you. What? There's Skinwalker Ranch? David says. Hey, man. Thank you guys for your comments. I appreciate all of you guys. Yo, Who.Dat is from my friend from New Orleans. She did this Muses Parade, which is like the all-women parade. She like walked in this parade because she's a beautiful woman. And, you know, New Orleans is all about the parades. I love New Orleans so much. It's like one of the most beautiful, amazing cities. And she participates in this women's parade while I watch. And one thing that they do is they throw, you know, in Mardi Gras parades, they throw beads and all these little trinkets and blinky, flashy toys and all kinds of stuff they're throwing from the parades. But at the Muses Parade, they have one thing that all of these old, rich women throw: one shoe. They all throw one shoe, and they choose when they're going to throw their shoe. They spend all this time decorating this shoe with little encrusted jewels, little flashy doilies, right? They design this shoe to be really awesome looking, and then they throw it out to the crowd. And people go ape poopy. People go ape over these shoes, right? People are holding up signs saying, throw me a shoe, right? People are trying. When I caught this shoe, so she told me before the parade, your mission, catch me a shoe. I'm going to be in that parade, and I want you to catch me a shoe. So I was like, well, it might be tough, but I'm going to try to catch you that shoe. And I caught a shoe. I saw somebody throw a shoe before, and this guy caught it. This really tall guy caught it, and I was like, that's what they look like. And when I saw that shoe get thrown, Clay was there closer, my best friend, and he grabbed it, but it bounced off his hands, and it fell on the ground, and I dove on it, and I caught that shoe, and I got it for her. And then after that, people were trying to bribe me. People were trying to offer me money for that shoe. This teenage girl was saying she was going to pay me $2,000, and I was like, show me the money. She was lying, right? She like got into she was trying to grab at the shoe in my car, and at the shoe, the special shoe, she was trying to grab at it, and then I grabbed the shoe, we took it away from her, but then she sat in my driver's seat. She like got into my car, and she was like, I'm not leaving until you give me that shoe. This is like a sassy black teenager, right? That was getting drunk. And then when her mom or older sister came to pick her up, she was like, what are you doing drinking? And she slapped the drink out of this girl's hand and slapped her in the face. She like slapped the drink out. She's like, get in the car. But man, I don't know. It was crazy. The times between love and life, and, you know, it's very beautiful. And you know what? I appreciate all of you guys for being here. I'm going to go in a second unless anybody has any burning desires of questions. I want to eat. I am getting hungry. And you guys have fulfilled me and made me very happy today. Check it out. This is the view outside of my apartment. I want you to see this. Oh, yeah. That is what I'm giving up. I'm going to move out of here. I'm going to leave, guys. Yeah, I guess that's all I'm going to show you today, you know, until next time. You guys are all appreciated. Oh, don't be sad. Don't be sad that I'm leaving. Well, unless anybody has any awesome words of wisdom they want to add to the somewhat one-sided conversation that we're having. Till next time. Look, there's Noelle right there.
No, I'm invisible.
She's invisible. I don't have the shoe here. I left it in Pennsylvania, actually. My family has like this cottage in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. It's pretty neat. You know what? I'm going to New Orleans for Easter. They have a big, huge parade festival time. And then after that, I'm going to be going to Tucson because I'm building my own Tesla coil. Then after that, I'm coming back to LA for a month. And then I'm going on my tour. This summer, I'm going all over the country, and I might be coming to a county fair near you. Yes, I'm doing state and county fairs as one special head. doing the performances, you know, all the throat singing, goody goodness. Georgia, I don't know, New Orleans, Midwest, Washington State, South Dakota, back to California, Tennessee, Virginia, a bunch of different states. I will be there. Hey guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys make me so happy. All of you. In this moment, we are all peaceful. We are all having a good time, I hope. Happy Sunday. Welcome to reality. Yes, I will come up and visit Niagara Falls. I want to see Niagara Falls and Buffalo, New York. And hey, you should reach out to me and maybe be a friendly friend in an unfamiliar city. I appreciate all of you guys sticking with me on this live stream. I know it's not as awesome as some of the other videos that I've done, but you guys made it awesome by existing and being here with me. Thank you guys. Until next time.